I'm so sorry. I really am sorry.
Former Mayor Catherine Pugh apologizing in a new video before her sentencing today. Her defense team submitting this 13-minute video to the court. In just a few hours, Pugh will learn her fate after pleading guilty on federal tax evasion and conspiracy charges stemming from her Healthy Holly book scandal. This morning, we have live team coverage ahead of Pugh's sentencing. We have Rachel Aragon, who will be speaking with someone close to the former mayor, finding out what she's expecting today and how she's been preparing. But we want to start with Elijah Westbrook, who is live at the federal courthouse where Pugh will be sentenced. Elijah.
That's right. Good morning, Megan. Well, before the morning is over, Pugh will learn just how long she'll be facing behind bars. In fact, just right there behind us is the U.S. federal courthouse, and she'll be expected to walk right through those doors at around 10 o'clock this morning. Now, prior to that video we just showed you, the last time we saw Pugh was back in November when she pled guilty to conspiracy and even tax evasion charges. Federal prosecutors say Pugh had people buy her children's books under the premise that they would be donated to Baltimore City schools, but investigators reveal those books never got distributed to students. U.S. State's Attorney Robert Hurst says Pugh worked closely with her former aide Gary Brown to sell her then donated books for hundreds of thousands of dollars and kept all the money.
The indictment alleges that Ms. Pugh and Mr. Brown employed several methods. First, by accepting payment for the books, but then not delivering them. Second, accepting payments for books and having them delivered, but then converting those books to their own use without the buyer's knowledge. And finally, by double selling books without either buyer's knowledge or consent. In other words, selling copies of a book to one buyer and then selling the same copies of the book to a different buyer.
Federal prosecutors are recommending Pugh go to prison for nearly 5 years. Her legal team is suggesting she only serve 1 year and a day in prison. Now, since Pugh pled guilty, dozens of people she's worked closely with have written letters of support in an effort to reduce her sentence. And we'll have much more on that in our next half hour. We're live this morning in downtown Baltimore. I'm Elijah Westbrook, Fox 45, Early Edition.
Thank you, Elijah. Former Mayor Catherine Pugh's Healthy Holly book series made roughly $800,000. Here's a recap of where the money came from. The University of Maryland Medical System paid $500,000. The Associated Black Charities received $90,000 from other groups to pay for books. Kaiser Permanente paid $114,000, and Grant Capital Management donated $100,000. According to Pugh's federal indictment, she accepted payment on the books, but did not deliver them. Instead, the indictment says that Pugh resold the same books to other buyers. Pugh also admitted to using more than $100,000 of the Healthy Holly income to fund her mayoral campaign. The federal indictment also says Pugh used some of the money to buy and renovate her Ashburton home. Well, taking a look at the fall of former Mayor Catherine Pugh, this all started 11 months ago. In March of last year, news broke about a $100,000 payment from the University of Maryland Medical System. 4 days later, Pugh stepped down from the board and returned the money. Then, March 28th, Pugh held a bizarre news conference showing off her Healthy Holly clothing line. On April 1st, Pugh announced her leave of absence. Then, April 25th, the FBI raided her home along with City Hall and other locations. And that raid and the fallout from it ultimately led to Pugh resigning on May 2nd. Pugh's indictment became public on November 20th, and she pled guilty to 4 of the 11 counts the next day. Catherine Pugh could face the maximum possible sentence for charges stemming from the Healthy Holly book scandal. But what will time behind bars be like for the ex-Baltimore mayor? We have Rachel Aragon. She's talking with a close friend of Catherine Pugh. She's live at the federal courthouse with how the former mayor is preparing for her sentencing and life following today's ruling. Rachel.
Megan, good morning. That's right. Absolutely right. As you just said, in fact, Catherine Pugh today will definitely be handed down her fate. But we know federal prosecutors have been pushing for months now for close to 5 years, which is the maximum sentence. I caught up with Dr. Tyrone Powers, who is a former FBI agent, and he spoke to Catherine Pugh just last week. He says she's been reflective and apologetic as seen in that video that was just released overnight by Catherine Pugh herself. Now, she says again that she accepts what she's done, according to Tyrone Powers, and waiting today's outcome. Dr. Powers says there's no way to fully prepare for prison, especially for someone like Pugh, who comes from a position of power and could very likely lose her freedom overnight. If sentenced to prison, Dr. Powers says Pugh could go to jail straight from the courthouse today. He says her legal staff is likely preparing her for all possibilities.
In your mindset, you had to prepare for the fact that when she leaves her home tomorrow to go to the courthouse, she may not come back home. Your hope is that she will be given some time, but you can't prepare like that because the system says that once we sentence you, the sentence can begin immediately or we can give you leeway, so you have to prepare for both.
Now, that decision is completely up to the judge. As for what facility Pugh is sent to if she receives jail time, Dr. Powers says no one knows as of now where she'll be sent. It's up to the prison system post-sentencing. Now, Dr. Powers says Pugh, who is about to turn 70 just next month, says as what he can see and tell so far, she does not have any immediate health issues, but any physical or mental issues would be addressed by the facility she's ultimately sent to. Live from federal court this morning, Rachel Aragon, Fox 45, Early Edition.
Thank you, Rachel, and stay with us. We will have continuing coverage on Pugh's sentencing all morning long. Later this morning, we're going to have a team of experts talking about corruption in Baltimore. We'll also have a special report on air and online when Pugh's sentence is handed down. Our team of reporters will be in the courtroom bringing us the very latest as it happens.